Okay, looks like those go on the bottom right there. So this is a really interesting, I got this really cheap rack. And this isn't like a review or anything. By no means is this a product review. I mean, I'm not being paid by this company or anything. Oh no. Oh, I hate these fucking things. So yeah, I guess I'll talk a little bit about my fitness journey. So, long story short, I ended up dirty bulking, eating about 3,000 calories that I didn't need. Boy oh boy did I put on some size. What's up? It's me, Kevin. So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to do an assembly video. Like I mentioned before, I've been trying to build my home gym. So I figured I just got the next part to my home gym. And I figure, I might as well set up. And I'll talk a little bit. So if you care to watch, feel free to watch. So I've been wanting to have my own home gym for quite a while, but I haven't quite been able to most of the time. I've been training. I've been training a gym. I mean, I do have some stuff here at home, but I've always been very limited in what I can use. There's some old machines, a couple dumbbells, a barbell with only maybe about 100 pounds worth of weight. So it's better than nothing, but I've always been kind of limited in what I could do. So I always preferred to go to a gym where I had access to more equipment. But, training at a gym has its own drawbacks. Having to drive 20, 30 minutes to a place and hoping everything isn't all crowded. Having to wait for machines, just annoying. And having to deal with people. The people you'll meet there, yeah, they're such a pain. Or, you got the women there, you can't, who you can't engage with. You don't want to engage with them at all. It's like they're there for attention, but, only from chat, only from, that top 20% guy. If you're an average dude, don't even think about it. So yeah, it has its drawbacks. It really does. Having to drive, and then it might be closed if it's a holiday. You never know. But being able to train at home, now that's a privilege. That's wonderful. Because now you have no excuse. No friction. You don't have to worry about people. You don't have to worry about driving there or the weather, or whether it's a holiday, whether they're open or closed, or if you work crazy hours, if you have a crazy work schedule, you might have a hard time getting a gym. You might need a 24-hour gym. And, those are only so good. But if you can work out at home and take the gym home, then you really do have something good there. You got something good for you, because now you have no excuse. Nothing's gonna hold you back. And that was always the thing that always fucked me over. The past few years have just been really hectic. It's been hard for me to keep up with my own goals. And I always felt like starting my own gym was just out of my price range, or out of my out of my price range. Just, maybe if I got lucky and I could accumulate money over time. But I actually found some relatively affordable things. Just the bare minimum. I only need the bare minimum to get ahead. Let's see, I got a barbell. I got 260 pounds worth of weight so far, in addition to the machines I already have here. But what I need is a rack. Well, I just got my rack, so I'm going to start putting that together. Got these instructions are probably really lousy. Just a bunch of pictures, really not a lot of words on here. But I used to assemble furniture at one of my old jobs, so I'm pretty good at making these damn things. I'm curious to see how quickly I can make it, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna set a timer. I want to see how long this takes me. So let's start right about now. Alright, let's begin. Okay, looks like those go on the bottom right there. I got this table set up here because I used to assemble shit on the floor, but I hate doing that. I hate having to lay it down on the freaking floor, sit cross-legged or kneel down. It's a lot easier when you have like a nice table, a nice designated workspace. That way I'm not bending down or anything. Okay. Now I just gotta figure out. So this is a really interesting, I got this really cheap rack off of Amazon. The thing is here, another issue that's been preventing me from doing this is I'm very limited space. This basement is absolutely cram-packed with stuff. There's really not enough room for like a full-size rack, power rack. So I needed something that was small, compact, that could just get the job done. I'll probably post a photo of the rack or racks so you can see what I mean here. So instead of being like one unit, it's basically two separate racks. I guess one thing I'm trying to figure out here is if there's a left or a right. They're exactly the same, or when I looked at the reviews, I think somebody said there's a left and a right. So I got to be able to tell the difference here. Sometimes these things, they look simple enough, but they can be very deceiving. Like halfway through the process, you find out that you made a terrible mistake, and it's like, oh shit, you got to go back like 6 steps to fix it. Yeah, I'm pretty convinced if I can get this whole home gym thing, I'll have no excuse not to train. I won't have to worry about, all these external things that keep fucking me up. Not to mention, I feel like I'd actually be saving money in the long run. I mean, there's this initial purchase that I have to do. But in the end, you're actually saving more. We're already 9 minutes in. It's crazy because I thought it was going to take about 30 minutes. Not even close. But once I can make one, I can make the other. Alright, let's see if I can not screw this up. Oh no. Oh, I hate these fucking things. These are such a pain in the ass. I mean, you don't want to tighten everything at first. But these little things... Oh boy, this is going to be tedious as hell. Okay, so it actually really isn't that complicated once you get the idea. So yeah, I guess I'll talk a little bit about my fitness journey. You know, I'm that guy. I've been trying and failing for years and years and years. I remember when I first started, and I was just like, well, as a kid, you know, I came down, I started messing with my parents. You know, my dad had some weights, started throwing those around a little bit when I was young. But I didn't really get serious until after high school. Let's see here. If I could just finish this one, it'll make the second one so much easier. And this should be adjustable. Let's see. Alright, so that's one of them. Now I just gotta tighten this thing. Here's where the real tedious part comes in. Okay, now for the really shitty part. Okay. I think I might have the right tools for the job here. The hardest one is going to be that one in there. These things are going to be a pain in the ass to get to. But the rest of these should be pretty quick. Alright, here we go. This is the one I was looking for. Okay, finally, that's the first one done. Let's see how long it took me. 58 minutes and 50 seconds. About just under an hour to make one. All right, now let's see how much faster I make the second one. This should be a breeze. So anyway, as I was saying earlier, I was introduced to lifting, working out pretty early. But I didn't get serious until just after high school. Yeah, I was always a skinny kid, scrawny kid growing up. Always on the smaller side. Especially once I stopped growing. I kind of stopped growing once I was like around 15, 16. I noticed I stopped growing and everybody else started to get a lot taller and bigger than me. I noticed this as early as middle school, and you know, to no surprise, I was a bit insecure in high school. You know, when everybody else my age was bigger, they started working out, they started seeing some people work out and get muscular. Well, I was kind of scrawny. I didn't really let it get to me for most of the time. Until late in senior year, where I basically asked this girl out who I liked, and she ended up politely turning me down. And I guess it was probably no fault of mine, but that's what kind of really sparked my desire for self-improvement, to get in shape. And so immediately out of high school, I embarked on this massive weightlifting program or adventure or whatever. Honestly, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just went down in the basement, used the machines we got down here, and I just went to town. Started lifting like a motherfucker. And I was absolutely convinced that I was one of those guys who had a hard time getting big and putting on size. I figured, you know, since I'm so small and scrawny, I must be a hard gainer. So the solution for me must be to eat. I must have to eat more. So, long story short, I ended up dirty bulking, eating about 3,000 calories that I didn't need. Boy oh boy did I put on some size. But seriously, I would go to these supplement stores like GNC, and I would get these mass gainers. You know, those things that are just loaded with calories and carbs, thinking that this was just going to magically make me massive. And sure enough, I started packing on pounds for sure. I also noticed I started getting stronger. Yeah, I ended up gaining so much weight. But I didn't care at the moment because it's like I was getting stronger, and the fact that I was getting bigger, I was starting to fill out my shirt a little more. People were starting to notice. I was starting to get noticed, compliments, everybody talking about how, man, you're huge now. What happened? What'd you do? And I used to have, what the hell is it? Men's Health or something, those magazines. Yeah, I used to have a couple of those, and I always used to aspire to look like the... I always wanted to aspire to be like the people on the front page, who were completely ripped, total beach bod. But I noticed when I got bigger, stronger, yet when I looked in the mirror, I didn't look anything like them. I was kind of soft, flabby. I lacked any kind of muscle definition. The strength was there, the size was there. I looked good in the shirt, but once that shirt came off, I was like, oh, what the hell? Why am I all soft and squishy looking? And I kept thinking, well, hang in there, it'll come. I wondered, like, where the fuck are my abs? Well, I kept going like this for good 8-9 months straight. I gained 40 pounds. 40 fucking pounds. I went from being a little 135 pound weakling, and now I'm pushing like 185. Now I was strong. I was very strong. I was probably arguably the strongest I've ever been. But I did not like the way I looked, and I looked older too. I couldn't quite figure out why. Okay, so here it is. It's all set up, ready to go. In getting this, I've completely revolutionized my home gym experience. Let me try it out. You slap these plates on. I'm gonna test out my bench press. This is just practice. Nothing crazy. I'm not actually training here. I'm just doing a demonstration. Got these little things, little clips. These are so nice. Nice, quick and efficient. I got these right here. This is where I rack the weight. And then I got these little safety things here just in case I get stuck. If I gotta bail myself out. Actually, come to think of it, So one little trick is I don't really put these on at all when I'm benching. And the reason for that is so that I can have a possibility of escape, because I train alone. I don't have a spotter to come save me. Try this out. Okay, so that did rock a little bit. I just got to be careful not to rack it so aggressively. The last thing I need is this thing falling over. But let's try this little scenario. Let's try, say I failed a rep. How will I get out of this situation? Well, let's see here. So let's say I fail this rep, right? Came really close to my face, but my little safety thing protected me. And now I can just wiggle on out. Now, if that fails, that's where things get a little interesting. Say I can't even get it up there and it's stuck underneath the weight. I mean, it's stuck on me and I can't get the weight off. Well, here's one way. I don't really want to do it because I don't really want to make a complete ruckus. But the reason why I don't clip these things, so that if I get stuck, I can just tilt this slightly over to one side and the weight will conveniently fall right off. Of course, it'll cause the whole thing to flip over. If you've ever seen those gym fail videos, you know what I mean. But I'd rather do that than get crushed to death. And then of course there's always a roll of shame, but that's besides the point. And I've already gone ahead and I've marked these holes. I have a marking for my bench press height. I also went ahead and marked my squat or overhead press height. That way I don't have to keep guessing and keep filling around. I know just the correct height to put it at. So let me go ahead and test out the squat. Okay, now time for the squat. I've adjusted it. See how this goes. Again, I'll demonstrate what it looks like done properly with the successful rep without any issues, and then I'll try an escape in the case that I fail the rep. Always pay attention to this. I've heard horror stories of people who have totally missed racking the weight and had the weight freaking fall on them. People have gotten killed that way. Okay, so now let's suppose I can't get on from underneath it, or I can't complete the rep. I want to see if I can get out of it. I should probably stand closer to this thing. So yeah, I guess in the case of failure, that's what I would do to get out. That's why I'm glad it came with this, came with these. Anyway, that's my new thing. I'm so glad to get started. I'm so excited to get started with this. I've been wanting to do this at home for so long. No longer having to go to the gym, have to put up with all the crap. I brought my favorite exercises here. So yeah, there it is.